Well, hello, dear viewers. Welcome to Level Up Reviews. This is your host, Wolf, and today we shall review another Worlds of Ultima game, Ultima Worlds of Adventure 2 Martian Dreams. Let's jam! Well, let's get to the Martian Dreams, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was really looking forward to do this review because Martian Dreams is one of my favorite games, and it is one of the most imaginative, awesome games. I would say it's more of an adventure game than an RPG, but it still qualifies. Martian Dreams is a psychedelic adventure with magic berries which give you special powers. You're surrounded with greatest minds of Victorian era, traveling into the dream worlds and meeting plant-based lifeform aliens on Mars. I mean, I don't know what kind of imagination and creativity it took to create a game like this. The game is quite frankly brilliant. The game was released in 1991 by Origin Systems on DOSBox, and of course it was re-released in 2012 as a freeware on GOG, so there is no reason not to play this game, really. Martian Dreams is produced by our favorite mad scientist, Warren Spector. Although, to be fair, he was affected by radiation in Ultima Savage Empire. The game has really a minimalistic approach in design. It was designed by Jeff George, and as dreary and boring as Red Planet looks, trust me, it's really not, and it's really fun to explore and walk around there. It's sorta like Morrowind. Sure, the scenario doesn't change a lot, but quite frankly it works for this game. And speaking of which, exactly like Morrowind, I cannot imagine any other music that would suit this game except for the one that it already has. It was composed by Dana Carl Glover. The game came with manual and a map, as usual. Speaking of the map, you'd be amazed to find out that Map of the Mars is actually accurate in this game. Well, what did you expect from a space nerd like Richard Garriott? It's very weird to me that game was not actually too well received by the critics. I do not know why. This game is so original, so different, and a lot of fun. I mean, name another game where you get to talk with greatest minds of Victorian era. Where else would you get to talk with Thomas Edison and Marie Curie? She even tells you that she misses her husband when you ask her about Pierre. Martian Dreams is also using Ultima 6 engine. This time around you're using guns instead of armor and weapons. And you better dress warm, cause you will freeze on Mars, if not. But I guess if you're interested in more detailed review, watch my Ultima 6 review. One more thing is the berry power. Red has no function. Brown allows power of sight, like seeing through the walls or seeing in the darkness. The green one allows you to persuade objects. I know, it's sort of a weird power. Purple is using telekinesis. Blue cures the poison but makes you dizzy. And rouge is used for the coloring, but more about that later. There are less companions this time around than usual. Only 5. And they're not optional, you switch through them. Well, let's get to the game. At Columbian Exposition of 1893, an astronomer, Percival Lowell, presents Space Cannon and proposes an expedition to Mars to the greatest minds of this era. But something goes wrong, so the cannon launches, stranding them to Mars. Meanwhile, in our own time, a mysterious woman gathers up Avatar and Dr. Spector and teaches them how to use Orb of the Moon to travel through time. Orb of the Moon. Is there anything this thing cannot do? You can travel through time now? I have to say, it's pretty creative how well they're using Orb of the Moon to create all these games and still manage to have the games relate to Ultima series. She even gives you a photo that shows you with the greatest minds of Victorian era. Although, I do not really understand why Avatar is so surprised. He has traveled through time before, he has been to space, and he has even been to Mars before. After time travel, Avatar flies to Mars, with Nikola Tesla, C.L. Blood, Neely Blee, and Sigmund Freud, and Dallas Garrett, who was based on Dallas Sneal, an executive producer of the game. Man, he must have a high opinion on himself if he placed himself in this company. And Mars itself is a vegan nightmare. It is populated by sentient plants. So there are cities that have been populated by settlers from Mars as well. You need to restore the power by fixing a conveyor belt and rewiring the towers. And later on you will need to restore the water system as well. You do this by powering up generators which melt the polar ice caps, making some water on the planet. Anyways, these two quests are pretty simple, really. Not much to talk about. And you will discover that some of the settlers are possessed by Martians. Avatar finds out that there was a Martian named Raksach who wanted to take over Mars. And yes, the Martian names are nightmare to pronounce. Raksach? Seriously? Only Raksach could not take over the planet. So he released a deadly plague that exterminated all of the Martians. Man, what a genius. But, of course, before everybody died, Martians managed to flee into the dream world, where they still live on, and now they managed to replace the human minds and trapping humans into the dream world. Dream world itself is really fun. You get sort of a mini puzzles that you need to do to free human beings. For example, Lenin wishes to divide money equally, although he will get all the extra money and a diamond. Yeah. Yes, everybody's equal in Soviet Union, although some people are more equal than the others. And some of the quests are really weird, like helping George Washington Carver to experience Martian birth cycle. And oh yeah, you meet Smith, the talking horse, in here. Man, I miss the little guy. He tells you that he's really tired of nights and he really wants a change of scenario. So basically, to free human beings you need to grow Martian bodies and transfer Martian into it. But unfortunately plague is in the soil, so body immediately dies. Although, why does not it affect any other life form in here? Like proto-Martians? Or creeping cactuses? I wish it affected creeping cactuses, I hate these things! So instead you will find a robotic body which was built by Martian scientists as a plan B. Avatar gets this robotic body for Chesheket, a Martian, and I wish and I hope I will never have to pronounce Chesheket again, even if I am mispronouncing her name. While this is happening, you will find out that Raksach is alive. He possessed Grigory Rasputin and now plans to destroy Mars and take over Earth. Nah, this is pretty interesting. Rasputin is a villain, huh? Who would have guessed? But before you can do anything about it, Raksach flees to the dream world, from which he can destroy Mars. So you need to go back to the dream world and stop him, while new bodies are constructed for the Martians and new space cannon to go back to the Earth. Here Avatar meets Shadow Lords again, and I really love the throwbacks in this game. They put you through tests of truth, love and courage again. And I have to say, tests are really fun and do exactly what they set out to do, to prove your truth, love and courage virtues are still intact. And finally you will face Raksach, who will put you through his tests as well, although of course he will break the deal immediately after you pass through all of those tests. So Avatar has to gun him down and take all the Martians and Earthlings back to Earth. I can't really give this game justice it deserves. It has pretty much everything that makes Ultima such an amazing game series. An unbelievable creativity and innovation. And the originality which the Origin system is known for. And it also puts out a very interesting perspective. While we get rid of one tyrant in Raksach, we bring the other one, Lenin, back to Earth. A man who is responsible for millions of ruined lives. Man, Earth is a bit depressing after Mars. But do not worry. Gather up your swords and armor. Ready your orb of the moon, for Britannia is calling for another adventure. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe. and don't forget to leave a comment. Thank you very much.